Welcome everyone. This talk is on Q channel capacities with generalized amplitude damping. My name is Krishna Jagannathan from IIT Madras. This is collaborative work with Vikesh Siddhu from the University of Colorado, Avhishek Chatterjee, Prabha Mandayam from IIT Madras, Sridhar Tayur from Carnegie Mellon University. So what is this talk about? This talk considers the effect of buffering in quantum communications. In particular, we consider sequential transmission of quantum states through a medium. As you know, buffering of quantum states is inevitable in communication tasks. As qubits wait in buffer, they suffer a waiting time dependent noise, and this is the issue we quantitatively characterize in this paper. Here is a schematic diagram of a quantum communication system where classical symbols are mapped to quantum bits and possibly buffered in an optical loop before being transmitted through a fiber medium. And at the receiver, the received states, rho1 prime, rho2 prime, rho n prime, are noisy versions of what is transmitted, rho1 through rho n, and the decoder decodes by looking at the noisy states. The key issue is that buffering is inevitable either between the preparation of qubits and transmission, but also in the transmission medium itself. So this buffering and flight time leads to constant interaction of these quantum states with the environment, which means that these quantum states go through a noise which is dependent on the buffering time. Okay, so the channel noise depends on the duration of interaction, which includes the buffering and flight time. What we do in this paper is we derive fundamental limits on the rate at which classical information can be transmitted using qubits that decohere as they wait in buffer. We use the technical framework of a quantum Q channel in which the quantum states are processed in a queue. We model it as a queue. And each of these quantum states suffers a waiting time. So the states rho1, rho2, rho n suffer waiting times w1, w2, wn. Rho I sees the waiting time wi. So the channel, the noise parameter seen by the state rho I, it depends on the waiting time wi, the waiting time of that particular qubit. Now, since this wi's are determined by this buffering process, by this queuing process, the noise parameters seen by rho I are not independent. So this requires a channel model which requires us to go beyond IID. So there's a general formula for channel capacity, quantum channels capacity, which is available in this paper of Hayashi and Nagaoka in terms of a quantity known as the quantum information rate. However, this characterization is not a single letter and it's fairly complex. More recently, in this paper in JSAID last year, an upper bound was derived for all additive quantum Q channels. A matching lower bound can be found when there is an induced classical channel with the same capacity. For example, in the quantum erasure Q channel case, this paper found that an induced classical channel is easy to find, and you can in fact get a matching lower bound achievability result as well. In this paper, we do something similar with a more realistic and perhaps a little more complex generalized amplitude damping Q channel. The symmetric GAD qubit channel with parameter n equals half essentially squishes the block sphere like so. For Rx, Ry, Rz are the block sphere along the three directions. It gets squished like so. And this is considered a realistic model of decoherence in optical communication networks. This picture shows the squishing of the block sphere. Our main result is the capacity, classical capacity of the generalized amplitude Q channel for the symmetric case n equals half. We show that the capacity in bits per second is lambda times the expectation of 1 minus a binary entropy term. This binary entropy term includes this P of W, which is the parameter P of the GAD channel, parameterized by the waiting time W. And this expectation is taken over the stationary waiting time W in the Q. Furthermore, we show that the induced classical channel is a binary symmetric Q channel, and that the capacity achieved by using a classical encoding and product decoding strategy. In proving the result, we assume that the waiting times of qubits are available at the decoder. Here is a plot of the capacity against the lambda, which is the transmission rate. normalized to a service rate of 1. This is for rapid decoherence. This is for slower decoherence. As you can see, the capacity increases and then falls rapidly as the arrival rate lambda approaches the service rate of the queue. That's because the more the qubits wait in queue, the more they decohere. And as lambda approaches 1, there is a whole lot of waiting and therefore a lot of decoherence. To summarize, we study a Q-channel model with generalized amplitude damping noise. We obtain the classical channel capacity from the symmetric case and showed that the optimal encoding and measurements are essentially classical. Ongoing work includes extension to a qubit unital channel, of which the GAD symmetric channel is a particular example. More broadly, our work highlights the importance of explicitly modeling delay-induced errors in quantum communications. We think it's imperative to develop architectures and algorithms which explicitly take into account delay-induced errors in quantum information processing. Thank you.